Okay, so I finally got one of these genie hitches the other day. Um, I've been kind of pondering about getting one for a while because they seem to be what's best for what I was wanting out of a adjustable hitch. But I really hate that they're the cool kid thing and that most people, fucking powder coat them to match to their fucking pavement princess and probably never use the damn things. And I say that and I haven't used this one yet, so I've, on one hand don't want to make a video about it, but there are some things that I can gather from it before even using it. And it is, it does seem to be well made. Um, you know, it's got solid shank on it, so that's cool. But I really freaking hate their just marketing bullshit. Mega duty, ha. That means it's stronger or something just because they call it that or whatever, right? Um, and of course, there's a lot of different options out there. There's all sorts of different, especially nowadays. Um, it seems like in the last, I don't know, 5 years or something like that, that uh, pickup hitches have kind of exploded in popularity, and everyone and their brother is making a different one. But I personally really like that this is just a row of receivers, and you can actually see, like, so that it's literally is a shitload of 2-inch receivers welded on top of each other. So, like, there's one there, and they're just, 1/4 inch receivers welded together. So the total thickness between the two, when they weld them together, is 1/2 inch, which is cool because, it makes for, like, easy spacing and all that kind of stuff. And, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, why reinvent the wheel? Most of the other adjustable hitches out there have a proprietary, like, coupling setup. And so, if you get a hitch from, I don't know, some other company, then you're kind of stuck with what they offer. Where this one, as you can see, is just a shitload of 2-inch receivers welded together. You can stick whatever you want to in here. And so, like, these are the individual receivers here welded together. And then you can see that they have this, like, outer, sheathing or whatever that goes around it. And the cool thing is about that where the pin rides in here, because of course there's a little bit of play, I mean there has to be, but where the pin rides in there, that's a 1/2 inch thick on either side. It's not just the one thickness of the side of the hitch where, a normal receiver tube here, like so, is 1/4 inch wall thickness, if I can get that, like so, and there's nothing on the side of it. So if you actually use your shit, as this pin works back and forth, it'll actually start to waller out this hole. And you can't actually get, like, purpose-built washers to go on the side of here that you weld on and everything, to give it more of a bearing surface. So I do really like that, the way that they have this set up, that for one, it's a bit tighter of a fit, but that this is already 1/2 inch thick. So as it wears over time, it should wear longer. And these pins are, like, really pretty freaking nice pins. They're turned steel, which hopefully comes across. They rounded off the edge there, which is pretty nice. But the stupid thing is that they're, from that surface there, they're fucking 4.5 inches long. And so these here it came with, and then I bought these extra, and they have different lengths. But even the shorter one here is still a little over 4 inches long, which I just think is ridiculous. Because even the shorter one here, you know, you stick it in a normal receiver, and look how much is sticking out the end there. And even in their own hitch here, you stick that all the way through, and you can see how much is on the backside there, and I just don't see any reason for it to be that long. The little hairpins that it comes with are kind of interesting. They got this little funky shape on the back of it, and the idea being that they're supposed to be easier to deal with, and so you actually twist it to the side like that, and then it's supposed to be easier to pull off. I actually don't like these. Personally, I think these here are just easier to work with and everything. But so anyways, I really want to build a bumper for the back of my truck here, and while I really do like the idea of the stacked receivers like this, I don't like the idea of it going into the standard hitch receiver on the pickup. And so I think what I'm going to do when I build a bumper for my pickup is actually just take this thing and cut it off right here. So cut this section of it off and then weld this onto the back of the truck, so the stacked receivers will just be welded onto the back of the truck, and you can pick whichever one you want. And I was actually doing like a little bit of shopping around to see if I could, you know, just buy a bunch of these and weld them together myself cheaper. And while granted it would be cheaper, it actually wouldn't be that much cheaper. So I think unless I decide to go a different route, I think I'm going to take one of these and just lop it off right there and glue it on the back of the bumper and do it that way. But in my opinion, these are the best option for versatility and also quality for that matter too, because they do seem to be very well built. Unfortunately, in my opinion, it's like Snap-on, where, you know, it seems to be pretty much the best quality that you can get out there, but the cost is more than it should be. You know, like, is some of the bigger Snap-on, you know, wrenches and sockets worth $200 a piece? No, I mean, they're really not. But your other options out there are far inferior, in my opinion. And like this one here, I got on eBay for like $340 or something like that, which is just, it's fucking ridiculous to spend that much on a hitch. And I don't think it's worth the cost, but like I said, I don't know of another option out there that, you know, uses the stack of 2-inch receivers, because to me that's rather important. You know, I want to be able to swap shit around as I want, and I don't want some stupid proprietary setup. Like, you know, so this guy here is sold as a like toe ring. I actually use it as a pintle hitch, but it, you know, it just slides right in there and, you know, works just like that. You don't have to have any special adapters or anything. But so that's why I ended up getting that. In my experience anyways, these have always kind of been the like standard go-to, the buyer's forged receivers, the combination ones, and these are really kick-ass. I really like these things. I've probably had this one here for 12 years or something like that. I don't know. I don't tow a whole shitload. I actually use it as really, honestly, mainly as like a connection point for winching out vehicles and that kind of stuff. I carry it so that if somebody else doesn't have a good connection point on their vehicle, I'll toss that in there. But I like that this has the ball mount on it, and you can pull a pintle trailer with it. And as you can see in the bottom of it there, I don't pull a pintle trailer very much at all. But honestly, part of that was because, even though this is good and strong and all that kind of stuff, you don't have the height adjustability. And it seems like no two fucking pintle trailers out there are the same height. So maybe having this geny hitch, maybe I'll, end up pulling pintle trailers more. But, so these are strong. I've never managed to damage one of these things, even yarding on it with a fucking bub rope or, winching on it or anything like that, whatever. Never managed to damage the hitch itself. But these clips here, unfortunately, break quite often with me anyways. And so I actually keep some of these pins here around because I end up damaging them all the time. But it's really nice if you want to pull a pintle trailer, just slap it in there, drop it down, and then you can put the pin in through the top. But the problem with these is that they have a lot of slack in them. So you can see that just bangs back and forth like so. Which, it works fine. It gets you down the road and all that kind of stuff. It's just kind of annoying to listen to, and it, shakes the pickup and everything. So on the back of my Ford, I actually have a slack reducing pintle hitch. It's a dedicated pintle hitch, but it actually has a little air can, just like an air brake can, on a truck on the back side of it. And it's when the eyelet goes onto the pintle hitch, it actually has like a wedge or whatever that will hold the front side of it so that it doesn't bang back and forth, and the air can will actually push on the wedge on the front of it, and I'll show that later. The geny hitch is kind of an interesting way of dealing with the slack, which I'll show here in a minute. But I guess first of all, I was going to throw this in the crane scale and see how much it weighs, because I think it's really pretty funny watching videos about these things. And they're, 95% of the videos or whatever are, it just seems like our guys just talking about like, oh, holy shit, this is so cool. I've seen this at SEMA and blah, blah, blah. And, they're not actually going to do it, do anything with it. But I think it's really funny guys talking about how, heavy these things are, and, saying that they, need 3 people to put one in their pickup or something. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of steel to there and everything, but they're not terrible. So, whoop. Helps if you turn the scale on first. So, got the hitch put in the crane scale, and so this one is the 6-position adjustable hitch, and it's the 16,000 pound or whatever variant, and it says 47 pounds, which is actually a lot heavier than I thought. It doesn't feel like 47, but that's what the crane scale says. So I will get this set up over here to kind of get a better vantage point for what I'm talking about here. So this is the edge of my table, and you can see I've got a 2-inch receiver on the table. And I've like standardized everything that I have on 2-inch receivers. Like I've got a vise that I can slide in there, so you can, slide a vise in here and move it around and take it with you out on the road, and, put a bench grinder in there or whatever. And like I was saying, that's what I really like about these, because it's nothing but a stack of 2-inch receivers. So, you know, I can put my vise in here, I can put, you know, whatever the fuck else I want in here, yada yada yada. And you can of course adjust these things up and down, you know, have it facing this way, have it facing that way, do whatever the fuck you want with it. But one thing that I was worried about at first was that I thought that the genie hitch was going to be too long, like it was going to stick out too far from the back of the pickup. And so this one here, from the center of the pin to the center of the toe ball, is pretty much right at 12 inches. And this one here is almost too long. It's almost too long sometimes, I find. And I think you're just gonna have to take my word on this one here. But the genie hitch, and yeah, I know it's supposed to be called Gen Y, but I like genie better. The genie hitch from the center of the pin to the center of the toe ball is like 12 1/8 inch, something like that. So it's just a fucking cunt hair longer than that buyer's hitch. And these do have 2 spots in them. So you can shove it out a little further if you want. But so of course, you know, they got their they got this double ball setup going on here, and they have a hole through the center. And they do sell a shackle on their website that you can put a shackle in here, but it looks like it's Chinese made from just looking at the pictures. And if you read the description, they actually say that they don't manufacture it themselves. They source it from somewhere else. And so I actually ordered a rigging shackle to go in here that hopefully will be here tomorrow, and I'll take a video of that when it is here. But on this one, like I said, so this is the 16,000 pound whatever, and you can see it's got this like little ski jump deal going on here. And what that seems to be for is to try and take a bit of the knocking out of the pintle hitch. And so when you put a pintle eye in here, it actually fits pretty tight, all things considered. And then this is the pintle lock right here, and this is a solid piece of steel as well. I have no idea why it's got the hole in the end, but the reason it's got the 2 holes in here is so that you can like store the lock, if you will, like so, or slide it out like that, and then that will retain the eye in there. And you can see, no matter, well, yeah, you can pretty much see that even with the ring shoved all the way forward, it's not wearing on the frame of the hitch. It's only wearing on the ball mount and this lock, which I think is cool, because then that way, you know, if you know, drag a pintle trailer around for, you know, 200,000 miles or whatever, you're not going to wear out the frame of it. But so there's that. I will hook up a pintle trailer to this and actually video it driving around, because I'm really curious to see how well that works in practice, because it sure looks good just sitting here. But whether that translates to the real world or not, I'm not sure. And I'll show one more thing here. So this on the top here is just like, a standard receiver. You could buy at Napa or something like that, like a weld-on receiver. And what's really fucking annoying here is that the spacing on their ball mount from this surface here to this here will not fit into this. So you can see the hole is just slightly off. So, saying that this would be the receiver on the back of your pickup, you can't use this ball mount just on its own unless you were to shave down the end here. It's looking on their website, near as I can tell, the only difference between the 16,000 pound rated one and the 10,000 pound rated one is just this little ski jump deal right here for the pintle. And so the 10,000 pound one does not have this piece here. And in that case, you could just simply slide their ball mount in further into the receiver and it would fit just fine. But on my pickup, I actually shaved down like the receiver, the face of the receiver here, so that I can use just the ball mount in the back of the pickup if I wanted to. What else? But, yeah, like I was saying, I just really like that you can use, any 2-inch thing in here that you want to. So if for some damn reason that you felt like it and you wanted to do that number there, well, it's nothing but a row of 2-inch receivers and you can do that and knock yourself out.